once your book has been submitted and everything has been checked and ready to go and it's accepted, then this button right here is going to appear under your KDP account, and you just click promote and advertise. And then when you run down here, there's run an ad campaign. If you select your marketplace, Amazon.com is usually the one that I choose. It's got the most buyers. Then you say create an ad campaign here, and it's going to take you to the advertising.amazon.com. And it's going to bring you over here where you can choose your campaign type. I always do sponsored products. Sponsored brands and lock screen ads can be a little bit more expensive, and sponsored brands are really only good for when you have many products that all work together. So just say sponsored products for your books. Give your campaign a name. When you're testing different campaigns, you may end up creating a lot of different campaigns just to see what's going to work and what's not. So make this something that you're going to be able to find and pick out easily, a few weeks down the road, a few months down the road when you're trying to adjust your campaigns. So let's say that I'm creating a campaign for my mom book. So I'll say mom book, and this could be specifically for my paperback version. It could be specifically for the ebook. I could be targeting ASINs. I could be targeting search volume, if that's where I got my keywords from, Helium 10. Okay, but I'm going to make this specific. So for now, I'm just going to say paperback. Okay. Now the portfolio, I will show you how to create a portfolio, but once you do have a portfolio created, then you're going to click on this and definitely put it in a portfolio because it's just going to help keep your campaigns organized. Start date, you can start it later if you want, but I wouldn't mess with this. The end date, I usually say no end date, but if you are worried that you're going to forget about your Amazon ads and not come back to check on it, then maybe put an end date for 2 weeks from now so that you have enough time for your ads to run and see if they're working or not, but you don't forget about it and then end up spending a bunch of money, and several months down the road you come back and realize that you just spent a whole bunch of money on Amazon ads. Daily budget. Now, depending on your Amazon ad strategy, this is going to change. Generally, when you're first creating an ad campaign that you're trying to test, you're going to want a lower daily budget, but not so low that you don't end up spending any money on ads. You'll find, so Amazon does not actually spend your daily budget. Okay, it's very different from Instagram ads or Facebook ads where they will spend whatever daily budget you give them. Amazon won't. And the reason why is because if you have a bunch of low bids on your keywords, then people are going to outcompete you basically. They're going to bid higher than you, and then Amazon really can't spend your budget. So this really only matters if you're doing a really aggressive Amazon ad campaign where you're placing really high bids on all your keywords and you're going to spend a lot of money, so it can cap out at a certain amount. I usually just say $10. Like I said, Amazon never spends that because I like to make really low bids to see if I can basically get the low-hanging fruit, if you will. So I'll just say $10. Automatic targeting, you can try. This just basically means that they're going to choose the keywords that are targeted for you. This can be nice to run if you're just getting started and you haven't really done keyword research yet and you don't really understand how to do it, or you just want to see what Amazon picks out and what keywords work out of the keywords that they've found. And it will give you a report of what keywords people have searched for that are causing them to actually purchase your book or that are causing them not to purchase your book. But I always choose manual targeting, and especially now that we've talked about keyword research, this is what I would suggest doing, is manual targeting. And this is where we're going to manually enter our list of keywords that we've been researching. Now, I always stick with dynamic bids down only. This just means that Amazon will lower your bids anytime your ad may be less likely to convert to a sale. I don't choose up and down because I don't trust Amazon. I just don't, to increase my ad at the right time. I feel like that just ends up spending a lot more money than I want them to. Now, fixed bids is Just, it's not going to change at all. I usually just do dynamic bids down only, and that works pretty well for me. Then I generally do the standard ad text. I have tried doing the custom text ad, and this could be good if you're doing like a fiction novel and you want to put your little one-liner in there that can hook people into wanting to look at your book. But for me, I have some nonfiction books as well, and when I tried doing the custom text ad, they weren't, like, it didn't work. The ad that I typed in, it was something about my weight loss book that I had written, and they got back to me and said that I wasn't allowed to use that wording because it was like promising weight loss, which it totally wasn't, because that's not even what that book is about. Like, it's just about being really gentle with yourself and developing small healthy habits over time. But apparently the way that I worded it was not okay. And so I ended up just doing standard ads from then on and letting them just do the ad. It's basically just showing your book. It just pops your book up closer to the top of the page in search results, and that's simple enough. So standard ad, then come down here to products, and this is where we're going to select what products we're advertising. So if I'm doing my mom book, then, and I did specifically say paperback, so I'll say this ad campaign will just be for my paperback version of the book, and that's right here. So I would say ad. A lot of times when I do ad campaigns for the same book, I will do the ebook and the paperback at the same time. You can experiment with both and see what works better for you. We are doing keyword targeting. We'll talk about product targeting later, but right now we're doing keyword targeting. So if I scroll down here and I say enter list, this is where I'm going to take my list of keywords that I researched and I'm going to paste them in here. And if you missed this tutorial, please go back to the Helium 10 tutorial and take a look at how we find our keywords that we're going to put in here, okay? And there are so many different ways that you could do this. You could just pick out a few keywords, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 keywords that you really like, that you've done a lot of research on, that you think are pretty low competition and that you could rank really easily for, and then start paying for ads for those. I would say if you've done a lot of research on your keywords, go for exact phrases, okay? This just means that they're only gonna run ads to the exact phrase that you entered in here. They're not gonna move around the words in your phrase or anything. Okay, so exact, I would always choose that. Something that I do like to do as well as one of my campaigns that I'm running is my 7 backend keywords. Those are the ones that I've researched a lot about, right? I really want to rank for those 7 backend keywords. So I will type in those 7 keywords here. And with those ones, I'm willing to spend a little bit more per click on them. And I know that I'm going to lose money in the process, that I'm not necessarily going to profit off of that. But the idea is that if I'm running a slightly more aggressive campaign, if I'm spending more money per bid, then I'm likely to sell more books for each of those keywords, and then my book is more likely to rank organically for each of those keywords, which means that my book will just show up on that front page of search results without me having to continue running ads to it. So over time, that can actually be a profitable approach. It works sometimes and it doesn't work sometimes, so you really just have to experiment. But let me just type in some random keywords. So let's say postpartum health, postpartum fitness, mom books for new moms, new mom care. Let's say self-care for new moms. Okay. And then I'm just going to say add keywords. Oh, okay, sorry. Remove all. Oh no, I just lost them all. Okay, self-care for new moms, postpartum fitness, books for new moms. Let's just do those 3. Don't do suggested bid, do custom bid if you're trying to do a low bid strategy. So this is where if I put like 1,000, if I paste 1,000 keywords in here, then I'd make them all just 10 cents per keyword and then say add keywords. And you're not likely to get very many clicks or views or rankings or anything at 10 cents. It's just not very likely. But this can be a good way to find that low-hanging fruit and to get cheaper clicks basically on your books. When you look over here, if I had clicked suggested bid, it would have automatically applied these bids right here, and these can be really expensive per click. So as you can see, postpartum fitness, since that's a really high demand keyword, it's expensive. The suggested bid is $2.10. And if I use the suggested bid, I'm a lot more likely to actually get my book put in front of people, to actually get clicks on my book, basically. Amazon is more likely, I'm going to basically outcompete some other people who are bidding to have their book placed at the top of search results, which means more people will see my book, they're more likely to buy the book. But because I'm spending $2.10 every time that somebody clicks on the book, not just every time they buy the book, then that can get really expensive really fast. So I would not recommend this, especially if you're just starting out. But like I said, if I've got my 7 back-end keywords and I want a more aggressive ad strategy, and I know that I'm going to lose some money up front, but I'm doing it for the sake of ranking higher organically and then earning more money in the end, then that can be an okay strategy. But I'm just putting a whole bunch of keywords just to test them, then test low. And then what you would do is, after you submit your campaign, I'm not going to launch this campaign, okay? But say that I did launch it, then we'll go to advertising.amazon.com. I have it pulled up over here. This is my dashboard. As you can see, I've tested a lot of stuff. And a lot of my campaigns I don't actually have running right now because honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Amazon ads. I think that they have their use. And like I said, when you first launch a book and you want to run an aggressive ad campaign, that's great. But continually running ad campaigns can get really expensive. And you just really have to do a lot of testing. So see, all of this I've just done so much testing with. And some of it's worked and some of it hasn't, which is okay. That's just how it goes. It's very trial and error. But back over here, right, when we submit this, if we let this sit for a week or two and we have not gotten any clicks, so come over here, you can see some of my active campaigns right now. None of these have gotten any clicks because I have not spent any money on them. And with all of these campaigns that I'm running right now, these are just starter campaigns that I've done for one of my books, for my Self-Care for New Moms book. And I put them all at 10 cents per bid per click. So they're not getting a lot of views right now, which I'm 100% okay with because I don't want to be spending a ton of money that's unnecessary to spend. But if I see that it's still not getting any clicks, any spend over the course of a week or two, then all I have to do is come into one of these campaigns and click on it. And then up here, I gotta click on the ad group first. I can click on targeting. And see, these bids are actually at 15 cents right now. So then I would just up the bids. And I can actually, I'm pretty sure, yeah, so I can select all of them and then adjust the bid and then change it all to 20 cents. Ooh, not $20, 20 cents. Okay, and then I click save and see how it adjusts the bid for all of them. So I just upped it by 5 cents, and then I'm gonna wait and see if I get any clicks at 20 cents per keyword. And then I just keep upping it a little bit until I start getting some clicks. And then I start getting some data and I can see, okay, well, they click on, these are terrible keywords. These are ones that I literally just copied and pasted from like that huge magnet list where it had like 4,000 keywords on it, right? And this is just for the sake of testing these keywords. I didn't really sort through them. I just popped them in here, okay? So here you go, baby shower add-on items, that keyword there. If somebody starts clicking on it and I'm spending a lot of money on clicks, but nobody's actually buying, then I know that's not a very good keyword. And so I can just turn it off. There you go. I'm not using it anymore. There's also something called negative targeting right here. And you'll notice that in your campaign, when you first make the campaign, there's this negative keyword targeting space. You don't really use it when you have your first campaign because you don't know what words you should be negatively targeting. So I can adjust it when I come over here and say add negative keywords. And that's basically if I notice that every time somebody types in the word or the phrase Aveeno baby shower, that they just spend my money and don't buy my book, then I can make that a negative keyword. And that just basically means that Amazon will not spend any money on that keyword. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And if we come back over here to Campaign Manager, this is where I can create a portfolio. And as you can see, I've got 3 portfolios created right now. If I open up one of my portfolios, then I can actually create a campaign within that portfolio and do the same thing that I just did over here. So that's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And let's go ahead and move on to the next lesson.